Zcash is getting a major upgrade. Through a partnership with the privacy-focused Brave browser, shielded Zcash is now available to millions of active Brave users. This is because shielded Zcash is now integrated into Brave Wallet. So now every Brave instance comes with the ability to use shielded Zcash right in the browser. And this is actually a pretty remarkable development, so I wanted to make this video to explain what exactly the Brave Zcash partnership is and why this could lead to increasing Zcash adoption. Also, at the end of the video, I'll speak with a Brave Wallet developer about how Zcash got integrated into Brave and the future roadmap for this partnership. So what exactly is the Brave Zcash partnership? If you haven't heard of it, Brave is an open source, privacy-focused web browser. It's basically like Google Chrome, but pretty much better in every way. While its main claim to fame is that it lets you watch YouTube without ads, it actually has a ton of unique features, which we'll get into later. But the main unique feature of Brave that matters for this video is the Brave Wallet. Brave Wallet is a crypto wallet that comes with every download of Brave. It's the little wallet icon in the top right of the browser. If you're familiar with popular browser wallets like MetaMask, it's very similar to that, but instead of being a browser extension, it's built right into the browser itself, which has a lot of advantages we'll get into later. Brave Wallet launched in late 2021 and has support for top cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin. But as you might know if you've watched our channel, almost none of the most used cryptocurrencies are good for privacy. They pretty much post all of your financial activity online for anyone to look up. And seeing as Brave is a privacy-focused browser, it makes sense why Brave and Zcash got together to integrate Zcash into Brave Wallet. And now, after significant development work, shielded Zcash has been integrated into Brave Wallet. That means that you can use Zcash in Brave right out of the box. This is a huge improvement for the financial privacy of Brave users, because shielded Zcash payments are encrypted on the Zcash blockchain, leaving no information that can be linked back to you. This is all enabled by the magic of zero-knowledge proofs, which Zcash pioneered and you could learn more about in our Zcash explainer video. So shielded Zcash is now in Brave Wallet. Why is this such a big upgrade for Zcash? Compared to other major upgrades that made Zcash faster or more secure, there is nothing changing here with the Zcash protocol itself. This is an upgrade in another way: distribution. As the saying goes, distribution is king. In other words, it's great to have some cool technology or content, but getting the masses to use it is a huge challenge in its own right. And this is why the Brave Wallet integration is a huge upgrade for Zcash. Brave is used by 30 million daily users and 80 million monthly users, and that number is only growing. Brave is rapidly becoming the go-to browser for many, and I can see why. Most privacy products are less convenient than their non-private counterparts. But for me, Brave is actually more convenient. Like most other internet users, I was a Chrome user. But switching to Brave was very easy, and the benefits were immediately apparent. It blocks a crazy amount of ads, including YouTube ads. It automatically opts you out of tracking cookies, so those annoying cookie pop-ups on practically every website are gone. Brave Search is independent from Google, and coupled with its AI summaries, I actually find it to be more helpful than Google. All in all, Brave is a product that shows convenience and privacy don't have to be at odds. In fact, privacy-focused products must be more convenient than their counterparts if we want them to win, since people often choose convenience over privacy. And because of its convenience, Brave is one of the few privacy products I easily recommend to people without feeling like a privacy freak. And I'm not alone. Big dogs like Andrej Karpathy, a founding member of OpenAI and Tesla's former AI chief, just recently recommended Brave browser in his new post about digital privacy. So Zcash being available in Brave Wallet, along with Brave's large and growing user base, is great news for Zcash. Because Zcash isn't just trying to be a tool used only by hardcore privacy fans willing to jump through a lot of hoops to protect their privacy, Zcash aims to be useful to everyone. But it's one thing to put Zcash in front of 80 million people. It's another thing for them to use it. So will shielded Zcash in Brave Wallet lead to more people using Zcash? Although it's impossible to predict exactly what will happen, there are a few reasons to believe that the Brave Wallet integration will lead to more people using Zcash. First, a lot of the 80 million people using Brave every month may hear about Zcash for the first time once Brave starts advertising to its users that shielded Zcash is available in Brave Wallet. And of the fraction of those users who are inclined to try Zcash, they won't have to download a separate app to get started. And for all the people who already use Brave Wallet for Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin, it's never been easier to get started with Zcash. With something like the Near Intense platform, users can swap some of their existing assets into Zcash without ever having to use a centralized exchange. Of course, if someone is already using a centralized exchange like Coinbase, they can get Zcash on there and send it to their Brave wallet. So tapping into the large and privacy-focused Brave user base and offering them a convenient way to use Zcash could definitely lead to more users. Another reason why integration into Brave Wallet may lead to more users is that I'm pretty sure browser wallets are actually how most people use crypto. Popular browser wallets like MetaMask and Phantom have reported millions of users. And although Zcash has been around for about 8 years, the Brave wallet is actually the first browser wallet for Zcash. Until now, Zcash wallets were separate apps on your phone or desktop. So being able to use Zcash in a browser for the first time helps put Zcash on a similar standing with the most popular crypto networks, making the user experience closer to what many people are used to. Overall, the Brave Wallet integration of Zcash is a continuation of the trend of making Zcash more accessible and convenient for users. For example, the mobile Zcash wallet Zashi offers a simple interface and integrations with partners like Coinbase and Flexa for buying and using Zcash. Also, Keystone released the first shielded hardware wallet recently, making it easy and more secure for users to store shielded Zcash. And a lot of these improvements seem to be paying off, as the amount of Zcash in the shielded pools, a useful metric for gauging Zcash adoption, recently hit an all-time high. Given all the reasons I went over, it seems safe to assume that Zcash and Brave Wallet will help to continue this trend of Zcash adoption. Okay, so I hope I covered all the basics of what you need to know about the Zcash Brave partnership and why it matters. But to learn a bit more about what the roadmap is for the future of this partnership and some first-hand insights into what makes Brave Wallet with Zcash so special, I talked with James Mudgett, who led the development of the Zcash wallet at Brave. Could you tell us a bit about this partnership and how it came about?
Yeah, so the partnership came about a few years ago at Consensus. We were having barbecue with Josh Swihart from ECC. Just crafted this idea that we could have Zcash in the browser. I think the synergy between Zcash, private payments, and Brave as a private browser worked well together. So we just hit it off. And then about a year later, we finally officially signed an agreement to move forward with the work.
Would you mind telling us which Brave platforms is shielded Zcash available on now, and what's the roadmap for getting Zcash on the other Brave platforms?
So Zcash shielded is available since April 2nd on desktop. It is actually inside of Android as well. You can enable this via feature flag. If you reach out to us, via support, there should be methods to let you know how to change your feature flags to play with some of these experimental features. It hasn't been fully tested yet, which is why we hadn't released it on Android with the desktop release, but it is coming in the next 1 to 2 releases, just as soon as QA can put a stamp on it. iOS is going to be trailing a little further behind. We're still adding transparent support, but we look for like another 2 to 3 releases before transparent support is distributed to the public, and then we'll be following up with private support.
So it's basically the shielded Zcash is available on all desktops, whether it's Mac or Windows or whatever. And then on mobile, Android versus iOS, it's kind of like in the coming months, more or less.
I believe this summer we'll see them.
Are there any additional features for Zcash that you guys are having the works at Brave?
Yeah, we're looking to expand on something called the memo, which is included in private Zcash transaction. You can attach a memo. It's not, maybe you won't be able to send a novel, but we're looking to expand it so that you could, or at least include other types of media as well.
Essentially, it sounds like maybe, so with the shielded Zcash, you can send, somebody Zcash money directly, peer-to-peer, and private. Nothing gets leaked on the blockchain. And along with that, you can also send a encrypted memo or some text, more or less.
Yeah.
And that's kind of limited at the moment to like some certain number of characters. But it's still nice to be able to say like, hey, this is for that, dinner bill that I took or we're splitting or whatever. Just leaving a note about what the payment is for, just like in Venmo or other things, or maybe some other message. But you guys are saying that maybe you could expand that to utilizing Zcash somehow to send much larger things. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, like contracts, sending like any kind of like if you would have a centralized system like DocuSign, you're really entrusting DocuSign to not get hacked and then leak all the data. Again, with zero knowledge proofs and what the technology that Zcash has in making that completely private is that only the recipient has it, or someone with a read token or read key. So yeah, you could start to build more on top of this. You could start building tools on top of IPFS, which is a decentralized storage system, or other tools that might even decentralize storage, decentralize payments, and then decentralized messaging, or even just building some APIs that would replicate something like DocuSign. I mean, you could build something like that possibly with this. And so I think there's like a lot of interesting use cases that'll come out of this. Like, I think we're more in the business of like building the browser, the tools, not being too opinionated on how to use it necessarily, and give people, give the developers really the capabilities.
Another question I had about features. I think recently one of the mobile apps, Sashi, for Zcash, it got hardware support so that people can have their spending keys not on their phone, but on some secure hardware device, which just adds to their security. And I was wondering, is there any plans to get something like that to work with Zcash and Brave?
Yeah, so Brave Wallet incorporates Trezor and Ledger libraries. We will be adding support for Ledger and Trezor as soon as we can, just to kind of keep consistency again with being able to use hardware on the other blockchains that are integrated.
What about, can people purchase any crypto or Zcash specifically directly from Brave Wallet?
We incorporate on-ramp aggregator called Meld. We work with a third party that will then go aggregate all of the different prices, payment acceptance, countries, country-specific on-ramps. And when a user picks to buy assets through Brave, we'll do the best we can to match them with the price that's most optimal. This is on desktop, Android. It's being worked on for iOS as well, but they can buy crypto. They can fund their wallet with any of the assets that are supported in the wallet today, and Zcash should be included in that.
Most popular crypto wallets like MetaMask or Phantom are browser extensions, and Brave Wallet, on the other hand, is a browser native wallet. I was wondering if you could tell us what's the difference between those and what are the advantages of a browser native wallet?
Yeah. So browser native wallet, again, we given our sort of internal processes on vetting and reviewing outside or third party dependencies, it just means that for us, at least moving quickly is sometimes not really an option. The difference between an extension and the native integration of Brave, one is that I think we start contributing into what is a fork of Chromium or a code base where the cryptography to build these wallets is actually being published back to the community. As browsers sort of evolved, they sort of all built off of each other. I think having them native in the browser and kind of built with the same technology that the rest of the browsers built in is a good thing. Secondly, the extensions are sort of built in a way that there are certain permissions to them. Our sandbox, you can't do some of these things that we could do with our wallet, as far as like integrating into the web page and into the payment flows on e-commerce sites and various other things. With an extension, it's a bit trickier to do that. Again, you sort of got guardrails up just to have extensions not abuse. Again, take user data, siphon it off, or abuse, be abused by malicious extensions. There are disadvantages. Again, extensions, because they're published, through JavaScript, through Chromium, extension store, you can often just get updates out very quickly. We're still always like testing waters on like what can we do to like speed things up there, be more competitive on the product by being able to roll out updates quicker to users. In the case of like something just doesn't work as expected, or there may be a bug, we can always roll out hot fixes, but it does take a bit more time because each individual user has to like update their browser, whereas an extension would just be updated automatically for you.
So the extensions may actually have an advantage in the speed, but the browser may have a advantage in sort of functionality, or
really it comes down to security. In our case too, just we hold the wallet to the same standard as the browser. So there's no like personal use data going out to Brave servers. There's nothing like that. And we're very careful about every integration we pull in because of the dependency. We go really in depth when we do like a privacy or security review with a company that we want to work with. Often involves actually diving into data retention policies, and oftentimes we find ourselves making a lot of requests to the companies. Web3 space is fairly new. A lot of companies are moving very quickly. Sometimes privacy can kind of get left behind. We want to make sure that like integration into Brave, we see it as like a much longer term support for crypto and the internet of value. So I think that in this case, moving a little slower here and more careful is really actually could be an advantage, especially since we're dealing with people's money.
from your side, like, do you have a particular most exciting thing about this, or fond memory, or hopeful about anything in particular?
I mean, it's been great working with the team. We meet regularly to discuss the integration as it continues to go forward, discuss different opportunities, how can we align on our resources and theirs. I look forward to more and more people adopting Brave Wallet, giving it a try, trying private payments. I think as the whole crypto product is evolving, there's sort of a learning curve for a lot of new people, and we really just want to make that a lot easier. I'm excited about seeing how people sort of respond to the idea of private payments through Zcash in a Chromium-based browser that is open source, and it'll be interesting to see other browsers maybe adopting Zcash as well. But as far as with our user base, our 80 million users is growing to 100 million, I believe. We'll continue to find things that are valuable to users, whether it's really connecting them with the value of making private payments or storing other types of assets in their Brave wallet. I would like to see too that just policymakers become a little bit more acceptant of a real cash alternative in a modern internet era. It just doesn't exist yet, or it's been sort of the growth has been stunted because of no clear policy. So I would like to see policy around private payments, private technologies that I think are really beneficial, and I think those things will help also accelerate all of this. So I think Brave is ready as soon as the users start coming, as soon as policymakers you give more guidance. We'll be ready with the technology, and we want to just make this open, and hopefully developers will also start to adopt these tools on their web pages.
I certainly hope Brave gets to the 100 million mark this year. I recommend it to everybody I talk to who is open-minded enough to try something. Building this in the first place, I'm glad Brave itself exists, and then also pushing forward with innovation and privacy in all aspects of our digital lives. So it's actually really amazing to see. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed this video about how Zcash and Brave are working together. Let us know in the comments what you think about this partnership and what other new developments in Zcash you're excited about.